Are you working in research, trying to do the best science you can?
Are you a team leader, a research assistant, postdoc, PhD student, or any other type of scientist?
Are you looking for a place where you can sit, relax, and listen to inspiring people?
Well, we have good news for you. You've just found what you're looking for.
Hi everybody, my name is Renaud
And I am Jonathan Weitzman.
Welcome to the Lonely Pipette,
helping scientists
do better science.
My name's Jonathan Weitzman. I work on the epigenetics of host-parasite interactions at the Université de Paris in Paris, France, and I am nervous to launch the Lonely Pipette.
My name is Renaud. I graduated a PhD in biology, specifically in pathoepigenetics at INRA of Paris-Saclay, France, and I am enthusiastic to launch the Lonely Pipette.
The Lonely Pipette is a podcast about doing science. And the idea was to talk to scientists, not about their science, because that's published and you can read about it anywhere, but talk to them about the scientist. What it's like to be a scientist, how they became scientists, and what the life of a scientist is. There are very few resources that help people who coming into science or deciding whether to stay in science, help them by giving them mentoring advice, giving them real advice about the life, careers, lifestyle, habits of successful scientists. The idea is that by just having conversations with scientists around the world from different fields and different cultures and different backgrounds, young scientists and even older scientists will be able to distill out habits and tips for being a successful scientist.
To explain also where I come from, I think we can also explain how we decided to start that. If I remember, we went out for a coffee and we talk about questions we have together about our job of scientist. I remember that I was saying, I have questions about what to do next. What is the next step? What will happen to me when I will be a postdoc or when I will have to choose a question? You told me, yeah, and I have questions about, am I a good mentor? How to deal with problems or life? Or can we find a place where we can have all those tips, all those advice? And because we were like, yeah, there is no obvious resource about this, I think we decided, okay, let's do it together. So
I think it's also really important to realize that there's no, you get there and you're a scientist and that's it, you've worked it all out. No one's worked it, even people who look really, really successful, they haven't worked it all out. There are so many daily challenges. And just by listening to how other people deal with those daily challenges can help you get tips. I think anyone, at any point in your career, whether you're at the beginning or well into your career, the idea of listening to the way other people do science, make decisions, recruit, look for jobs, change subjects, change direction. Just listening to how other people, it's comforting, it's encouraging, it's motivating, it's inspiring. You don't have to only learn from someone who's more advanced than you. You can listen to a young PI and who's just starting off and still learn things about the way they're approaching their publishing, they're going to meetings, they're recruiting, their strategies. I think all scientists have doubt.
Yeah, we do.
And it's really important to have a platform in which people can just be themselves and share their doubts, share their successes, even though people look really successful and you see them at meetings, they're on the stage and they're publishing these fantastic papers, they still mothers and fathers and colleagues, and they still have failures, and they're still wondering whether they got it right.
Yeah, and I think this is why we decided this podcast to be honest. So we have contacted several people that were okay to share with us their tips and being honest. So with this, we create this kind of format where we are just the three of us trying to relax and just share our thoughts on everyday life.
It's a conversation, and the podcast format is great because they are quite long, but that means that we can go a little deeper.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a conversation that you might have in the bar at a conference if you went to a meeting. But not everyone gets a chance to meet these people, and everyone has their own mentor. But I'm a big believer in benefiting from mentoring information and mentoring advice from the broadest range of people that you can meet. And if you're not meeting them at meetings or in classrooms or wherever it is, the Lonely Pipette will give a way for everyone to have access to some of the world's best mentors.
And to get the best tips, we decided to ask common questions to our different guests, but also some specific one. So I think what people should expect is for the same question, they will have different point of view, also because the person is different. And this is really something that can enrich them, because they will see that, yeah, there are no black or white answer. It's just a wide shade of gray.
And what will be interesting will be that each person will have a set of questions that particularly interest them, whether they're asking themselves questions about recruiting, or asking themselves questions about work-life balance, or asking themselves questions about how to deal with failures. So I think people will have their favorite question, and hopefully they'll wait each episode for that question to come up and see whether the answers are the same or different. Where the answers are the same, then that will reinforce some common trends and customs and habits. And where the answers are different, then the listener will get a chance to ask themselves, which of these researchers resonates with me? Some of them will go in directions that we're not expecting. They're not planned, it's not texted, it's not scripted.
There will be jokes with the French language.
There'll be a lot of going back, and that's the thing, is no one will get all of it. If someone works in France, they'll get some of the French references. If someone works in the States, they'll pick up some American things that from people that we will interview. So we're interviewing people across the world because we want people to see the differences and the common points between different cultures and different styles. Doing science in France is different from doing it in America. Not better or worse, just different.
We invite people to share their thoughts with us after one episode, or their ideas or their feelings or if they have faced similar situation or completely different one. We want these podcasts also to be not a unilateral discussion. If we can have these feedbacks from you, from the audience, for the listeners, we will be happy to target specific question that we see raised on the community.
And we want people to share. We want to create a community discussing very honestly what it's like to be a scientist. And the idea behind the podcast is that by listening to other scientists, some of whom are big names and famous, some of whom are just beginning their careers as scientists, that everyone has something to learn to help them be a better scientist. We can all be better scientists if we learn to listen.
Yeah, maybe to finish with maybe a fact about the name, because you and I, we have struggled a lot to find this name, and we end up with the Lonely Pipette. And I think this is something that people will hear in the final jingle. But this is what you say. It's
not because you feel lonely that you're alone.
Exactly. And this is also a main topic in our podcast, is we don't want to be only optimistic, but we want to spread good energy. And we think that whatever happened to you, you are not alone. There are people in the world that face probably the same situation. Maybe this would be one of our guests.
I think people are going to be surprised when they hear someone whose papers they've read in Nature or in Cell, and that person says, I messed up, or I'm scared to do this. And they're going to say, wow, me too. so they're going to feel less lonely.
And this guy is a director. This is also something that you can tell you. It's like everybody go through difficult times. And we are here to share those times so you can learn from it.
There is a lonely nature of being a scientist. And probably all scientists are a little bit lonely, what makes them good scientists. But we want them also to feel that they're part of a community with other lonely scientists, and that they don't feel alone. Yeah, I think that's important.
And at the end, I think that was the best title for the podcast.
Yeah. So having a title for a podcast, we fell into the trap of spending hours and hours deciding what should be the title.
We had an Excel sheet with tons of names.
So we have names for the next podcast we're going to create. But then we really agreed that we needed to focus on the conversations and on the content. The great thing about a podcast is you just put your earphones on, and you can be in the lab pipetting or doing tissue culture or in the animal house, whatever it is you're doing, and you feel a little less alone because you've got the Lonely Pipette in your ears.
Also in the public transport or at home when you're doing the dishes. This is why we decided to go with podcast. We wanted something easy for researcher to reach out. I hope they will like this type of content. Yeah.
And people get very attached to the style of the podcast they listen to, and the podcasters become in some way friends that you've never met. So we hope these conversations they will be very laid back. They'll be very comfortable. It's just like a discussion in a bar. But we'll touch subjects, some of which are professional, and some of which are much more personal. Mm-hmm. And I think people will get will hear a personal voice. So we want to start a conversation about
what is it to be a scientist, not only on the stage, but also on the backstage. And this is all those topics that we want to address. Mm-hmm. I think from each episode, they will grow up with this. In some way. Maybe they will talk about this episode or another one to a friend, and they will exchange on this, and they will open the topic in the lab too, and they will find a solution that was not going to be found about.
Yeah, so come back every month to listen to a new episode.
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. And don't forget to share with friends or colleagues. And if the Lonely Pipette is a catalyst for conversations in labs, then I think we would have done our job, stimulating more conversations about being a scientist, not just doing science.
So that's it for this episode. Thank you for joining us at the Lonely Pipette. Let us know your thoughts on Twitter at Lonely Pipette, and please share it with your friends in the lab. If you want to join our community, you can subscribe to the Lonely Pipette mailing list or mail us by following the link available on our Twitter profile. You will receive the next episodes directly in your mailbox. How cool is that?
Stay tuned for the next show, and remember, you might feel like a lonely pipette, but it doesn't mean you're alone. Tips from the Lonely Pipette can help you to do better science.
À bientôt!
À bientôt!
Hey guys, one last thing to finish up. If you like the soundtrack of the show, you might want to know who is the artist behind it. The song is called Lovely Swindler by Amaria, a talented French artist who composes electro swing. We are really grateful for allowing us to use it, and if you like it too, the best thing to do is to share it. Thanks again, and see you soon!